I do like how Red Bull Wolo has a time limit for score wins. I think that's something that needed to be explored for a long time in Age. Um, and I'm interested to see how it goes and if there's ways to pull it. Like, granted, part of okay. So first, I'll come back to that point. But Breeze picking runestones, Huggie picking shoals. Now we get some bans. So we have one water map. So can anybody tell me anything? Time limit so bad? Yes and no. I'll divulge some more information about that later. But hyper random, love to see it. No aftermath. I do like aftermath. Aftermath was a fun map to watch. Immersion, I don't feel too bad about. I'm not the biggest fan of Immersion so far. Just because the middle pond is weird with candy galleons. I don't like that kind of cheese. And Acre. So now we get the other bands. I do like Acre as well. The castles are really interesting. Music a bit loud. I'll just mute it. Yeah. I meant to have that going on the stream starting thing, but I wasn't getting it. Serengeti, that's fair. I'm not even a big fan of Serengeti in RM. But Fez, I guess. And Outcrop randomly picked. Okay. Interesting maps. So we'll keep that open. And then here we go. Oh, that's maps. Oh, it's the same site. I should know this. I'm an idiot. So now it should be civs, right? So Ken Otter, as the look, or anyone who's a little bit more familiar with the players, anything I should know about the players, anything I should know about their, style, whether they prefer water maps. Like we have one water map, a potential water map, and a pseudo half water map. Here we are, top divs. It was div 4, so it's gonna be pretty good. I'm excited. But still learning everything. I am gonna make a request. Huggy is a boater, as in like loves water maps. So we see the random bands right now. Dravidians, Goths, I know are super top tier, right? No. Ethiopians, Sicilians, I heard are good. Jurchens, glad I don't need to know about them. Poles, I think were pretty solid. Georgians, Hindustanis. So far, if they can ban the 3 brand new civs, I'd be very happy because then I don't need to learn anything. That is something I need to get going, but Smash stuff has been keeping me up in Gurjars. Okay. There's still a chance that the newer civs, but a few of the pseudo new civs for me aren't picked or aren't banned or are banned, like Jurchens and Georgians and Gurjaras. Like those were, I don't think Jurchens were, but like Dravidian stuff were just come out when I stopped playing. So have a little bit of tea. It's still incredibly fucking hot. Cute little you can't see. Let me rotate it around. Nice little Tigger map. Or Tigger cup. Seen some bands. Slavs and Magyars. That all makes sense. Though I feel like Magyars, aren't those like more of a rush civ? Or are Magyars just a solid civ? Chinese makes sense. There are 3 things certain in Age of Empires. No matter how long, I missed Age of Empires for 3 years, and I knew 3 things would always be the same. The Chinese are always a top tier civ and everything. T90 farms are always going to be a thing. I'm trying to remember what the third thing is. Whatever. But Chinese always a top tier civ. Honestly, not surprised. I think at this point there's just like no balancing the Chinese to the point that they're not going to be a top tier civ. What more do you need to know? Exactly. There was a third thing. It was a good joke, but I came up with it in the shower at some point and was like, oh, this is a good little bit, and now I've completely fumbled a bit. So, Mongols make sense. Persians make sense. So far from the few matches I've spectated, when did Microsoft make sure there are no more T90 farms? T90 farms? You'd think that. You'd think that. Japanese. Okay, so all these civs kind of make sense. We got some blind picks. Trying to think of what the common one, not, I think it was Bengalis that I kept seeing a lot of. So Also, no Malay, so no early elephant rushes like that. Persians, did those get banned? Persians got banned, yeah. All right, so let's see the reveal. Celts and Oh man, that was the one I was trying to remember. Was the Celts were really good. That is hilarious, and they blind picked them in the same order too. That's excellent. Yeah, so Celts, from what I've heard, top tier Civ right now. Saracens market play I think has gotten more and more popular, so that makes more sense. Because market play wasn't really as common. I feel like when I like 3 years ago, Huns. That's another always will be a thing. Is Huns will always be a good DM civ. It's purely because of the house situation. Huns and Slavs will always be a top tier civ. Maybe not top tier, but like especially at lower levels, you cannot go wrong with those two civs. Berbers make sense. Real quick, we need only 1.5 water maps. One and maybe 2 hybrid. You want a water map, and we'll call hyper random a hybrid map, right? Like hyper random, I feel like always has some water. Like before, not meeting market abuse and nothing changed, but people started to. Only doubt always did. Yeah, Tatars. I mean that's kind of like with the siege rams or the Flemish Revolution, like we were talking about, is that things can be good in the game, but no one really realizes it, and then a few people start abusing it, and everyone's just like, why weren't we doing this before? Um, and so market is one of those things where, especially with skill sets being, everyone getting better, and then openings being more explored, and just learning that like a lot of times the hyper aggression can really pay off and be like, well, usually okay, Koreans always a good civ with their actually no, the Koreans don't get the Mangonel range anymore. It's something else now, but yeah, it's just like you see this happen in like Pokemon and Melee as well, and just other games that last for a long time, where a lot of times like people will try to do more consistent longer term strats and win in the long run, and then finally some like newer people come in and start saying like, why would we go for a late game where the experience I could get beaten down by experience, and instead of just not necessarily all inning, but yeah, essentially. Like I mean, you look at StarCraft and like all in cheeses are a common thing, not full of cheese, but like oh 2 barracks rush or something like that, and it's like it either wins or it doesn't. It's a short game. There's never really going to go to a point where it's going to be long. So I can see that kind of big thing. Anyways, Turks always saw gunpowder. Teutons more gunpowder. Bohemians got banned, so I'm not gonna see that. Romans interesting. Vietnamese I've seen a lot of, which is I'm still remembering back 3 years ago when the Vietnamese were just like a mid tier anti archer civ. I know they do more now, but it always feels like they were not a good civ. They were not a bad civ, but they were never a great civ. So it's interesting to see so many people pick them. It might be just be like limited options, but I think I remember Otter was saying at least like Vietnamese are better in DM than you'd think. So Britons also make sense. I mean, Britons are, if I remember, not a great DM civ, but it's one of those like if you can get the death ball going and like take a long game, then Britain longbows just kind of win on their own. It's gonna be the final civ. I'm expecting Celts to get double sniped, right? Like we have what 2 snipes. I want to see the double Celt snipe. Kitans. Oh no, I have to learn a new civ. Why would you do this to me? All right. Any predictions for snipes? I'm guessing double Celt snipe. Come on, Kitans. What do the Kitans do, Lucky? I have no idea. The rest I can kind of like ad lib and figure stuff out. Kitans die. Okay. Saracens got double sniped. Cinema. I love it. That is fantastic. Not the Celts, but the double mirror, the double pick, the double snipe. Awesome. All right, now we get to hope my game doesn't crash because it did just crash. So find custom game. Okay, worked. Game variant. I don't know why I'm doing that one. I think there's a better way to do this. But I don't know. Catans are like steplands, so maybe cav archers, but they're terrible in DM. Gotcha. Should I be using a different thing to find the game? Or it should show up here, right? Yeah, we can take a little bit look. So like for the one water map, I remember Koreans being, I mean, I don't know if Koreans are more of a meme on water, but like Koreans are pretty solid in water. Turks always solid in water, but like shoals, I feel like you don't need, like candy aliens are important, but not as much on the shoals versus immersion in my opinion. Should show up, but spec dashboard is better usually. I am just going to do spec dash AoE to deathmatch. I assume it should. And then I can just click the watch or something. Like I said, I've forgotten how to do all the mechanics of actually Age of Empires ecosystem. Under browser at the top. All right, first map is going to be Outcrop. All right. So Outcrop is the admin pick, of course. That's how it works. They're pretty close on the start if I remember correctly, right? Like it's not a super far like Fez start. Um, but I mean it's gold pit with inverted gold pit. Oh no, it was just there ongoing. Ruben Stock's playing deathmatch. Getting pings. Type in Huggie. That might just be easier. Yeah, you're right. So who are people feeling for who's favorite here? Let's see. The spreadsheet. I don't know if I have the spreadsheet easy link. I could pull it up from the Discord. Announcements. Tarnished Deathmatch season. We can take a look at the score in Div 4. Spoilers, I guess. Spoiler warning, because I'm gonna be pulling over the scores in Div 4. If you care about it, then don't look now. But Huggie is up there. I mean, not a lot of sets played, but Huggie has won 2 sets, Breeze winning 1, so they are by far in the lead. Not many scores for sure. Yeah. Maps. Outcrop first, and then Breeze picked Ackeray and Runestones, and Huggie picked Shoals and Hyper Random. I'm excited for the Hyper Random game. Here's a civs real quick. Let me just check here. Spec delay is 2 minutes. I don't know. Like, I should just be able to. It should pop up here in ongoing when it starts, right? What are the maps? Are you not able to see them? Outcrop, admin pick. Oh, you left for spoiler warning? Ah, got you. Outcrop. Um, Outcrop is the admin pick, and then Ackeray Runestones by Breeze, and Shoals Hyper Random for Huggie. And Immersion band, Aftermath band, Serengeti, Fez. All sorts of fun stuff banned. Wanted to say Breeze. That's what I want. 3-2 Huggy. With these maps. Because somebody said somebody was a boater, right? Which sounds like a slur. Huggy is a water fan. And there's water map, hybrid map, land map with water play possible. Civs? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The double blind pick into the double blind snipe is my favorite part. Breeze is a full-blown only DMer. Don't think he's great with diverse maps. That's fair. Because, I mean, like, it's kind of like RM tryhards in a way. Like, they've gotten much better, but for a long time, the RM tryhards were, like, Arabia or Arena. Or, like, if you try to do anything else, they just get smoked. Because they're just like, we play on Arabia and Arena only, and anything else is just not worth it, so. Huggie isn't every mode player, but has bad starts, make weird things work. Well, it's easier to get a better start than it is to, it's pretty easy to learn how to practice your openings if you want to commit some time to it. So that's interesting. Okay, so it looks like they're going to get going. Let's do this. Yes. And capture edge. I think this should work, right? Might be spoilers, but we're going to see Celts and Tatars. Oh, 30 seconds. Okay. So, Breeze picking the Celts and Huggie picking the Tatars. 30 seconds, so we can real quick go... Oh, wait, no, I pulled that over. Speculate, yeah. Actually, we'll mess with that later. So, capture age. It should just auto-load onto capture age, I believe, right? So, in that case, let's switch over. Fingers crossed. No teams? Hoping this works. I also need to spend an afternoon at one point setting up my OBS again to be a little bit more clean. Message me. Oh, Huggie sent me the things. Nice. I appreciate that, Huggie. Not that he's here. There we go. Oh. Alright. Give me 1 second just to make sure everything is set up properly. Because I'm a pro streamer, right? Locked in. Breeze, Huggie, G, Tatars. The G's are annoying. Cool. I think everything works. Let me just make sure the audio... Yep, audio's there. Alright, cool. Catch up a little bit. And in the purple... Actually, no, we don't want to catch up. We just go normal speed, right? And we'll be behind. So, real strong start. We're going to restart to the back. Alrighty. Cool. In the pink, we have... Welcome to the Team Deathmatch. Or Tarnished Deathmatch League. This is Division 4. We have a match between Breeze and Huggie. In the purple, playing the Celts is Breeze, and in the teal, Huggie playing the Tatars. This is game number 1. So, Tatars, I know, have the Cav Archers, have the hill bonus, which with these hills on the sides could be very useful. We see a barracks opening and a chicken castle, as Otter calls it. Might lose a villager. Villager just barely stays alive. But that, getting some idle time, which is very nice. In the meantime, the camels of the Tatars do take out that scout from Breeze, so no eco kills yet. And we see archer ranges and stables going to be played from Huggie. Leading with the halberdiers for the Celts. The Celt infantry, of course, being extra fast. And I mean, it's going to be just infantry siege for sure as a Celts. So using that first, the blind pick, I mean, Celts from out of here are one of the top civs. So using them right away is wanting to get a nice early start in the matchup with the strongest civ. And Tatars, I feel like might be a decent matchup, but like it's so hard to do well against Cav or against SO, right? So, and Cav Archers finding 2 kills. So Huggie with the early aggression, finding a few villager kills, going to give the early eco lead. And we see a couple castles going up, one a little bit farther forward, just to help establish the foothold at the front of the base. And the cav archers starting to mass up, but a few shots from the castle and the scorpions and halberdiers takes out a few of them. And camels kind of go down, and now I think the early rush has finished, and we move into the mid-game. Or the early mid-game, whichever you want to call it. As the Celts try to get their little siege, halberdier, death ball going. Getting their heavy and scorpions, and we'll probably see some... We're going to be seeing siege rams, no SOs. So siege rams, halberdiers, and scorpions against Tatar cav archers, and just cav archers and a few onagers. So interesting that Huggie is going all Tatars, nothing, or all cav archers, nothing really to deal with like a meat shield or any food units. That seems very strange. I don't like not having anything. Even just like spamming some hussars just to soak up some of the fights, but a few woads in there mixed in. May as well. Get that speed, get them to move around. We actually see Huggie right away going for the expansion on the side, whereas both of the players starting to kind of build some eco at home. But it looks like Breeze is going to be the one forcing the aggression, sending the siege rams forward. And Andre's landing some good shots, taking out a bunch of the scorpions. Those scorpions not really well ready for those onagers. Takes them out. So now these cav archers are going to be a little bit struggling to deal with those scorpions and the siege rams. So no real units being made to counter the siege rams. But a couple cavaliers come out to try to take down those siege rams. But those siege rams take a nice castle out of the way. I don't think Huggie was quite expecting the siege ram play instead of just more like trebs and onagers. Seeing as there's no melee units to deal with the siege ram. And we see a siege onager starting to come out and land some shots on these cav archers, taking a lot of those cav archers out with some scorpions. That ball is going to go down. And the siege ram's taking out 2 castles and a few production buildings. This is very, very well done from Breeze, getting a nice early advantage. Starting to expand on the left side as well. Huggie establishing a castle. Would have liked a castle, I think, a little farther just to get that. I think I should get the hill bonus, actually. But only now sending the villagers over to get that expansion. But the siege rams continue to push forward. A couple trebs there, but defensive onagers trying to slow it down. And Breeze right now not really having a good follow-up with any infantry left. All the infantry has been chewed up, and there's the elite Keshiks. So nothing really to soak up these Keshiks coming in, and this siege could be taken out very quickly. Though with some good onager control, I just missed it. Massive death, losing all the cav archers there. And now there's really nothing even to contest the siege as the woads start coming forward. A few halberdiers maybe trickle forward, but enough scorpions are here and onagers to help chew through the melee units. And not a lot of a force here left for Breeze, kind of massing up in the back to start sending them forward. But like he has a foothold, he's taking out the production buildings. Huggie definitely on the back foot here. And now the woads are going to come in, probably take some villager kills, take out this TC, all this production. Huggie's lost, yeah. Huggie lost all that stone. Yeah, Huggie's out of stone. That's a good catch. I didn't even catch that. Now taking out this castle on the right side, that's kind of left exposed. I expect a GG pretty quickly. Huggie doesn't have the benefit of having expansions on the side to kind of escape to and try to push back from. Oh, we got a flaming castle for the fans. Lands, doesn't kill a single scorpion. What's Huggie's APM? We can check after. Unless there's a way to check in the way. Huggie wins, yeah. I remember there was a Smash tournament one time where it was a hype contest. So they played a set, and it was based on whoever the fans in stream voted did the coolest. And it was so, like, one player was a Peach, did the most technical, insane stuff, but because it doesn't, like, look flashy like Falco or Marth, it was just insane. So, a couple raids in the back as the expansion tries to go. Woads taking care of it. Going to take over the sheep. And, there's really not too much else to say. Huggie is incredibly destroyed here. But dragging it on for a little bit longer. Knows that I have a, thing to go to later on tonight. and wants to try to drag everything out as long as possible. General APM, or peak average APM, we can look at the statistics real quick. But yeah, I think like the early rush from Huggie was really nice, but I think just going mass Cav Archers into the Scorpion Siege Rams just meant that Breeze could push uncontested. And Breeze already burns his top civ. I mean, he gets the win from burning the top civ, so that's good. Yeah, you can see the early push from the Breeze just really massively popped, and Huggy never really recovered. Economy doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a short map, so it doesn't really matter too much. APM, I mean, Breeze has him out APM'd, which, if you're running Siege Onagers, pretty solid. Breeze has done rough since season 1, where he had a great run, just hasn't had a good season lately. That's unfortunate. So, leave map. Main menu. Here. And so we have a Celt victory for Breeze and a Tatar defeat. The map was Outcrop. Lobbies is going to be hyper random. Huggy immediately going to hyper random. Wants things to get crazy. Breeze hasn't been playing much lately. That's fair. I mean, Father Time comes for us all, right? So we got hyper random. That's gonna be a fun one. As far as civs on hyper random, probably save your Celts for accurate runestones for Huggy. Turks probably would be fine. Katans maybe. Maybe gets real wild. Teutons probably could be a good one. Berbers, I mean, camels are always solid. I could see Huns, or Koreans. I don't think Britons would be the play here on a hyper random. Maybe Vietnamese. I don't think Romans either. I feel like Romans and Britons, you really want a more established map like Acre or Runestones, where you might not be a water map. Like, cause like if it's a chance of a water map, you probably don't want to go. I mean, granted, maybe these are good civs for hybrid maps, and I'm just not too versed with it. Ongoing. All right. All right. So next game is going to be on hyper random. It's going to be Britain's Celts on hyper random. All right. So I'm just wrong. Fair enough. Go. Celt 1-1 incoming, you think? I mean, probably. Because, I mean, yeah, Siege Rams are just real tough for Britons to deal with, right? Early usage of the first picks, neither of them wants the other player to get too aggressive. I was really hoping Celt game 1 mirror match would be fun. Though we don't really do mirror matches in DM as much, right? So, all right, let's switch over to the game screen and get ready for game number 2. All right, hyper random map. In the blue, we have Huggy, who Breeze won the first game. So you're going to go Breeze taking game 1. In the blue, we have Huggy starting out with a Black Prince. 2 Black Princes. And in the purple is Breeze playing the Britons with 2 Black Princes. This map is just land nomad. We've got wood corners, bunch of resources, big hilly area in the middle. So that'll be interesting to fight over. Hill elevation is going to be very weird. I don't even know. I mean, it does look like it goes all the way up. So it's kind of like a mountain map. And we already see some paladins coming out for Huggy to try to deal with this Black Prince. I don't really know what the Black Prince does, but Breeze going to lose 2 of them. So we see the Celts going infantry, the castle, getting some woads right away in the stable. I just realized Celt Paladins, as far as I'm concerned, Celt Paladins aren't great. Like, they have Paladin, nice. In the meantime, Breeze, on the other hand, looking like he has a pretty solid setup. Couple castles. Get those longbow out, and some halberdiers. So, the question is, how is he going to deal with all the siege? A massive, massive wood. If this goes to a wood game, this game's going to take forever. That's so much wood on this map. Like, we can just go here. 46k map, wood. Maybe that's not as much as I feel like it is. It does feel like a little bit smaller of a map. But, yeah, this middle area is very interesting to fight over. A lot of dips and dives. Like, there's a big hill here, big hill there. So it's like kind of dual mountains. And then a bunch of gold in the middle. So you really want to establish that middle control. And it looks like Huggie is going to try to establish that middle control right away with the castle. Get some resources, maybe even some berries. All trees you can use the thing above the map to check. I'll figure that out another time. But both teams, both sides, kind of willing to just sit back right now. A little bit of early skirmishes. And we actually see champions have come out for Breeze to try to contest some of the infantry from Huggie. Seeing that early castle. As woad spam starts being a thing. And yeah, I'm a little bit interested in Huggie's build. It doesn't seem as practiced, doesn't seem as clean. And you can see just by the unit numbers that Breeze is already out to a much stronger unit count. But with this hill, if this once this castle goes up with some siege onger or two, it's going to be very hard to push into it. Shot lands, paladins need to make sure not to get eaten by these. The woads can take these guys out. And the castle is up, and this should force them back, and it's going to be a lot of dead infantry. But it's mostly just trash units. You know, the paladins coming forward to try to land on the longbowmen, and the halberdiers aren't there to protect the longbowmen. So the woad's going to land on the longbowmen. That's a lot of important units lost for Breeze. Granted, a lot of units from Huggie will be traded there as well, but that's, I think, a better trade for Huggie. And now the Onagers is going to land some shots on their own infantry. It looks like Britain Onagers are going to be the attempt at trying to counter some of the siege that Huggie is likely to bring. Which you can see the siege ram brings more siege and Celts. Yeah, kind of interesting. But it is nice because, I mean, like, I know there's no walls, but you could house wall some of this map, right? Like, you could house wall over here, and it's going to be very tough to get some raids. You're almost looking at, like, a Amazon tunnel-esque kind of map here. Huggie maybe not quite as favored here with the crazy map. I mean, this back area, super well protected. Huggie could do an entire economy over here. I mean, not a lot of room for farms, but this is going to be a late game with a no early rush deciding it. And we see these siege rams filled with a bunch of woad raiders. No siege tower shenanigans here, but the siege rams are going to go forward and be ready to explode. As Breeze kind of starts getting ready to contest the middle. A lot of shots from these Andras are going to land. Take out all the siege rams. The siege rams clump up. Andras trying to land a shot. Attack the ground. Takes out all the units. A lot of longbowmen just got melted by the siege Andras though. Fighting uphill though. And looks like Breeze is going to take a much better engagement here. Having the hill advantage. Those Andra shots just melting the rams. And like, if the ram dies from siege Andra shots, does it drop? Do the woads get killed at the same? No, they come out. But I think with so many siege Andra shots or Andra shots landing, it just one-shot the woads that came out. So I think Breeze took that trade favorably. Though the good news is that Huggie is establishing a very firm grasp on the middle of the map, even going so far as to take out that second hill. Problem is, Breeze is really establishing that death ball, getting a lot of longbowmen, having 42 on the field, getting the onagers, and now starting to trickle some trebs in. And it's going to be up to Huggie to have an answer. 70 military behind. Celt Paladin, really not the play you want to be going into against this. But kind of needs to try to get some snipes on those onagers. And a lot of really good shots. Trades a few onagers for some of those regular onagers. And that is going to make the siege push from Breeze a lot less effective. Woad's going to try to snipe this treb. And they're going to get that treb. So Huggie at least holding on, preventing Breeze from getting any sizable push. But with the economy behind it, doubled up, Breeze going to be able to just send a bunch of military continuously. Really establishing a solid economy back home. Has that house wall. Having 4 house walls. And over there. So even though walling is banned, there's not going to be any raids. Meantime, a couple paladins, a cavalier over here just to protect some resources, and they might snipe some of these villagers if they pay attention. And we see Huggie going for that back area, expanding on this gold, which has a lot of gold on it. So that's going to be very... Oh, that it's pulling back gold. That's why it's draining. But yeah, I mean, no castles in the middle from Breeze. That is a very shocking decision. I thought a castle here or even just back there or something. Just something to help push under. Because Huggie is able to just kind of run in, take a fight without having castle support, and run back. So Breeze is going to take advantage of this and try to start pushing some of the castles. And the Paladin's going to try to make a move, but that's a lot of longbowmen. And that nothing protecting those siege onagers. Those siege onagers are going to go down to those champions. Wode's going to go and try to take out the onagers instead. And I think this is a bad fight from Huggie, kind of choosing a bad... Well, I mean, actually, those longbowmen are going to get mopped up. Champions out of position, so the Wode's taking the flanks and going to win this fight. So I take it back. Huggie may have lost all of the siege in a bad way, but holy crap, did those Wodes just completely decimate the entire army from Breeze. And now Breeze is on the back foot. Trying to build a castle that's a little bit late. And unfortunately, there's not really any siege for Huggie to push up from. Like, get a castle on the hill right here, get a Trevor too, and start pressuring these buildings. It's just going to allow the Britons more time to kind of build back up. Even establishing this castle, we'll see if a trebuchet is made to try to contest that. We also still have those 3 Cavalier on standby, waiting for those villagers to just go a little bit farther forward. So hopefully Breeze notices that at some point, but that is some free raids that Breeze is not taking advantage of. And yeah, I mean, ecos are pretty balanced now. They have the spread they want. Not a lot of food for Breeze, but I don't think Britons need food right now. They need a lot of gold, and there is plenty of gold, but that gold in the middle is kind of what you need to start contesting, and Breeze is going to try to. Trebs are starting to come out to try to pressure this castle, but that's multiple Trebs, and, like, Huggie really hasn't pushed forward enough to prevent this. Like, Huggie has never really tried to establish control of this middle hill, which has allowed Breeze to build up on here and continue to push forward. So Huggie, unfortunately, I feel like had a much better chance there to establish firm control. We actually see him down to 45 military. Not really queuing up a lot of units. Just doesn't have the food eco. And so these Halberdiers going to get maybe some good picks. No. Longbowmen are going to chew up these Paladins. Paladins going to try to take out these Onagers. One Onager does stay up, which is very unfortunate. And we do see a good shot land. But those siege Onagers are going to be sniped from the Longbowmen and the infantry of Breeze. And there's really nothing left for Huggie to contest this. Does have the siege rams going forward to try to take out the castles, which is very nice. Could take out that last trebuchet, and is going to. So at least has stopped Breeze from getting a very solid position on the top hill. But it was a pretty steep cost, and doesn't have the military to help defend against this. And now the Longbowmen have a solid position. Last siege ram goes down, and if Breeze follows this up with some long-range siege, it's going to be very tough. Imagine Breed at the castles you mentioned. No way. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. It would have been very hard to push. Oh, and those Cavaliers didn't move forward. Aren't raiding the villagers. But at least they looked like they were working. Gonna be see some expansions on this side by Breeze. Huggie's massively underpopped. He never built the Celt Death Ball. Yeah, he's been struggling. I think the problem is he has too many food units. He went, you know, between Paladin and Woad Raiders, that's a lot of gold and food units, and so just never really was able to get the trash ball there, and just couldn't bounce because that's just so much food he's investing. A couple units walk forward into their death. But this castle likely going to fall. 3 Trebs going to out. Yeah, and the Halberdiers coming forward. And also with Warwolf, they're just going to snipe that, so. Villager's going to try to delay it going down, has plenty of stone to repair for a while. We see some raids coming in on the side. He's going to run into this wall and prevent anything. So, Halberdiers should clean this up. I mean, that is a good number of Paladins, but really there's nothing there for Huggie to raid. And so I think Breeze can kind of just ignore that for the most part and continue to push forward. We're looking a little bit Mitchy over here with a castle, protecting all these resources. Castle on this side. Yeah. Breeze just had a much better map too. Like much more fortified, I feel like. Has the Amazon tunnel opening in the middle to really worry about and nothing else. Huggie's map is pretty solid too, but it's just harder to access that middle hill, I feel like. Granted, Huggie took advantage of that, and just didn't really play with that advantage. So, Huggie definitely on the back foot, has the better eco right now, but just no military. Has a monk collecting relics, has 2 relics with that map control, which is very nice. And versus 3 relics. So Breeze managed to snipe those relics. Gets that advantage too, so Breeze looking much better in the long run too. And yeah, just gonna take out this position. Huggie had the early hill advantage. Just never really had the death ball to really push forward and utilize it. So it's unfortunate for Huggie, but I mean, at this point, the Britain death ball is up. There's not a lot of military for Huggie to contest it. And, I mean, siege rams are going to be a problem, and there's not a lot of infantry left to deal with this. So the rams are going to come forward and do some damage. But that is a lot of longbowmen get sniped by those siege launchers. So there's that death ball we were hoping for. And I think Breeze is getting caught unaware, starting to make the Cavalier now. But with those Cavalier not there to snipe the siege, and that's kind of been the story of this entire game, is Breeze leaving their army undefended with no meat shield, and then Huggie getting some really, really great trades, and then just Huggie not having anything to follow up with it. So good onager attack rounds, but like, cool, you've cleared up that fight, and now there's trebs here, and it's like, okay, you have a couple trebs here taking out this castle, doing some construction wars, but it's just Huggie doesn't have a good follow-up. Still has all those SOs, so when there's an SO, there's a way. And these, but I think Huggie's gonna run into the problem of trying to get some raids in, and this map is just not raidable. Huggie siege is disjointed, yes. Yeah, I think that's another issue. And it's like, okay, gonna go in there, maybe try to snipe some. Too many longbowmen, just throwing away the Cavalier, and that's food and gold you kind of need. Gold, not so much, but the food is very difficult. And Breeze now maxed up to 124 army, 3 times the army size of Huggie. Huggie a bit overboomed. You actually can see maybe some villagers getting slaughtered here, which will help Huggie's pop. But even in the queue, just some woads coming in of Paladin. Nothing really in the queue that could save Huggie from the situation. And now, I mean, like, you're going to try another siege ram push with some SOs and some Paladins, but it is going to be dire. The Cavalier coming over here to continue to deny these resources, or at least try to. But yeah, now they're on the hill. Now they're starting to push forward, and Huggie's going to have a crack back here, but, like, Breeze is starting to get some queues built up behind this. Starting to get an eco, has been pop capped. I don't see Huggie pulling this back. Could take a very good fight, but just needs to make sure not to let the units patrol too far forward. Now the siege going to come forward and chase away those longbowmen. Nice shot lands. The trebs do go down from the siege rams, and I mean, where there's Celt siege, there's a way. Those longbowmen need to chase away. I still would love to see some halberdiers come out. I don't think the champions really are what you need. You just need some meat shields here. The longbowmen stay alive. Enough of the siege has gone down. And Castle might take some damage, but I think Breeze held strong enough. Still has a massive ball of longbowmen, and still has plenty in the queue. 6 monks is quite a lot, though. Maybe send them forward to get some heals, but now the trebs are going to come forward and continue to pressure this forward place. And, I mean, Huggie's still only maxing at 38 military, and now we see some raids from Huggie. Or from Breeze, and this is going to be very, very destruction. Like, just, this is going to be rough for Huggie. It will help maybe balance the eco, but just has 1 paladin in the queue, a couple siege onagers in the queue. Huggie just never really seems to have a plan to move forward with this. Just add 30 Scorps and Woads. That would make sense, yeah. I think the Woad Paladin is just a mistake. So, I mean, champions are a thing, and Longwoman, but like, I don't know, the Paladins just seem so greedy, or so resource intensive. The Longbowmen just going to chew the Woads up before they can even help push. That was just a badly timed attack. The Woads went too far forward before the Siege was in position. Siege makes a nice, beautiful shot. But, I mean, this castle's going down. And you do not have... I mean, you can rebuild it, but it's hard to kind of establish control. The monastery that's built up front is going to go down as well. Nope. Trebs are going to get packed up and take out this castle, because that's more important. So now it's just going to be some longbow micro against the SOs. And now it's going to be a while that Breeze can't really push into this, but I don't think Huggie really has a chance at building back in. Actually, I've seen a massive raid in the back. So a lot of good eco kills from Huggie, getting the Cavaliers or the Paladins to go through this. Doesn't look like he broke through, just kind of ran through, but that's gonna get cleaned up, and Breeze isn't really affected by raids too much right now. We do see some siege on the sides who may be trying to break through this, but with the castle positioned there, I don't think there's going to be any path forward on the side. Unless these are meant to kind of attack the sides, we have forward stables, establishing this middle hill. This is what Huggie needed to do, is establish this hill, push from it, and keep moving production forward. And while the Longbowmen are going to be slowly chipping away at this siege, once the siege ram goes down, and these Onagers start getting sniped. Scorpion's a little bit too little, too late. With a few infantry mixed in, it's going to be all over. And once that castle goes down, there's no more hill position, no more map control. Maybe a desperate push on the side, just Onagers, maybe some Scorpions. Nothing really is going to happen here, so I think Breeze is going to take this one pretty easily. I think this was, I think we can all agree, just not the best kelp play from Huggie. And it's going to be a top tier Civ that's going to be lost, though. Yeah, if there's a few more SOs, like, Scorpions are probably better here, but Scorpions aren't going to be able to win out of nowhere. SOs are what you need to be able to pull a victory out of a losing situation. A lot of villagers standing around idle. I think now Huggie has 4,000 food and nothing being spent. No food being spent. There's just no trash units. Even Celt's Light Cav would just be a bunch of food. Yeah, right? Like, just needed some meat shields. And there's the Hussars. Just a bit too late. Huggie fight with one siege unit at a time. Yeah, Huggie did not pick very good fights here. And I mean, I still think Breeze, if Breeze had added Halberdiers at any point, I think it would have been a lot better. Just deal with some of those Paladin raids and just have a meat shield, but you're supposed to have all four. Yeah, you needed a nice spread of it, and that is just so many Britain traps coming forward. And yeah, Huggie's gonna have to tap out shortly. There's just no map control. It is trying to push on the side. The ram push is happening over here. Villagers coming over to try to protect against this. But I mean, like, okay, cool. You wipe out this entire corner of the map, it does nothing. It doesn't stop the death ball in the middle. You're gonna lose all your production buildings. Long map helped Brits, but this is a massive skill win. Yeah. And Huggie calls it GG. I think that was a, like, yeah, you can point out that Breeze had the map advantage. But holy crap, did Huggie just not take advantage of that early advantage that he had. So well done, Breeze, taking a second game. Military, yeah, you can just see, like, just outside of that first engagement, Huggie had just never could get above 60 pop, which is wild. At a certain point, you just spam Halberdiers and go, okay, they're just going to get eaten alive, but, like, fine. Or just Woads plus Hussar. I don't know. I think Huggie had a chance to really take advantage of the position he was in, and never took advantage of it. Because if we look at the map, or like early on, kind of like right around, I think it was this fight, like right at the start. Like eats up a bunch of these units. Still has fewer infantry. Lets a lot of Woads go forward and kind of get chewed. Does expand here, which is fine, but it's just like, Maybe it was this fight. Because, like, there's so many units coming in here. Yeah, can't really push here. Does do a good job of establishing control here. I think there's a fight in the middle. It was right here. Yeah, the Woads. It's like, this is the fight. Right here. You come forward with a couple castles and forward siege workshops and start spamming hussars. Start spamming Woads. Granted, you have no food. But, I don't know. I think this is a very important moment. You ran them forward into Castle Fire, into Longbowmen. And there's just never any tread backup, right? Like, there's never really any pressure on these buildings. The Rams are nice, but, like, a couple trebs earlier on, starting pressuring maybe, might have been nice. So, 200 versus 200, yeah, absolutely. So, next map is going to be Runestones. So, we'll go Runestones. Spectator dashboard, here we go. So, Celt's dead, and Britain's won. It's a very nice win for Breeze, beating the #1 Civ. And give me 1 second just to check my Discord messages. But, oh, where are... Here. So on Runestones, what are we going to see, you think? Romans, maybe? Teutons, Berbers, Huns. I can see Huns on Runestones. Okay. Game. Destiny 8:30ish. Okay. Cool. So the raid is happening. No patch notes. First pass of assigning rules. Cool. Okay. Cool. Just had to do some, I have other stuff going on, so intermission, real quick. What are people feeling? Fear it's Huns versus Teutons? Why do you fear? Is that going to be a problem? Is that just going to be a one-sided match for the Huns player, you think? Because Teutons will get rushed to death? Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, ready to find out? Catan's Koreans. I suppose I have to do this, don't I? Catan's Koreans. Alright, I have a minute before that starts. This gives me time to do this. AoE 2. Here we go. Catans. Pastures replace farms. I don't know how these work. Melee attack upgrade effects are doubled. Okay. They're infantry and cav civ. Skirmisher, spearman, scout, cavalry line, Lao Dao, mounted trebuchets. I've seen those before. Lamella armor, infantry and skirmishers reflect damage. That's wild. Cavalry regenerates HP in combat. Infantry +2 against ranged soldiers. They have HCA. They get Parthian Tactics, Champion, Fire Lancers, No Bows, Heavy Camels, Step Lancers, Siege Ram, no Onagers at all. Oh, they get the Rocket Carts, that's why. They get the Mounted Trebuchet, which is, actually I haven't seen those before. I've seen the Traction Trebuchet. Then Lao Dao is powerful attack that wounds enemy. Oh, it bleeds, okay. And then, cool. No bloodlines. It's even worse for Huggie. All right, game number 3. Let me switch to the casting one. All right, in the blue, hoping to pull back from a 2-0 deficit and keep their match win chance alive is Huggie with the Catans, and in the purple is the Koreans being played by Breeze, up 2-0. Better farms, 2 fills, 2 no bloodlines. So early rush going to come in from both players, though the Hussar from Breeze has stopped up front and gonna get poked to death by Breeze and no real damage done. Now this is going forward. Might find a kill here. Oh, just barely saved. Villager saved just with a single HP left. Maybe a little bit more. But looks like it's going to be a start. Oh, let me turn off the timeline. It's going to be a start of infantry and step lancers from Huggie versus castles for those. Do we see castles? Castles coming up now. But infantry champions are going to be the start against step lancers. So that's going to be a little bit rough. There are some halberdiers out there. She's Siege Tower Lao Dao is the play? Yeah, if only. I assume we've banned, actually has DM banned Siege Towers as well? I know I think they were saying like it's not really feasible for this, but we actually see Huggie getting 3 eco kills so far. 4. So some really nice play from the Step Lancers. Good rush. Breeze getting 1 kill of his own with the champions. But Huggie getting a nice little early lead. It's going to be interesting to see if he can carry it through, though. No, why would he? Because RM did it and people complaining about it. So early rush is over. I think Huggie came out on top, but the opening is probably going to be in Breeze's favor. So those are the mounted trebuchets. Interesting. They have probably short range, but they're super mobile. Nice. They don't pack and stuff. Need siege towers to troll Zhao. EW did. RM didn't. That's fair. I think RM. I don't think there's an RM tournament going on right now, but if I imagined that King of the Desert happened today, like literally tomorrow, they'd probably ban siege towers until it gets changed. So, all right, Li Dao's going to do the bleed. Rocket Cart's going to be nuking some of the infantry, and we're gonna have a little bit of a dance in the middle. But the military side kind of favoring Breeze right now with those elite war wagons. And they have spikes on top. I think that's new. That's definitely new. But is he a random champion protecting against any raids? But all his actions happening in the middle. A lot of infantry is in the back. Going to be rocket cart trades. And Breeze going to pull back a little bit and try to figure out how to push forward into this castle, trying to go on that hill. That hill will be a very nice pushing point, or a defensive point. I'm surprised that Breeze is just letting it go up for free. The rocket cart's going to snipe those villas, I feel like. The other problem with the RM tourney is I believe that I'm guessing that all the top players are currently working on the Empire Wars ladder. Nice snipe. So now a little bit of a... oh, we see a massive Step Lancer raiding army getting ready to attack some potential economy expansions. And both players still kind of dancing in the middle. I mean, this army from Breeze looks really scary. War wagons are nothing to joke about. Champions, rocket carts, siege rams coming forward, trebs. But all the military is kind of out of position for Huggie. This could be a very quick amount of damage if Breeze pops in, gets some shots off, takes out a castle, and then backs off. But that's a lot of infantry being chewed up by the castles of Huggie, and now the military is coming in. The Step Lancers coming from a flank, going in the back ranks, going to go straight for that siege, and they're going to get chewed up pretty badly. A lot of rocket carts just melting them, and takes out 1 treb, but I do not think that was worth it. That was a horrible angle from Huggie, but has the infantry coming forward as well. And yeah, Koreans just are good civ. War wagons always top tier. Castle goes down, and this death ball in the middle is going to be a problem. But now the champions kind of coming on the side and try to take out some of these war wagons. The numbers starting to go down a bit. And a lot of infantry is going to be a problem, but those rock carts just nuking all that infantry. And, I mean, some good damage was done, but that's so much military lost by Huggie. Huggie's now losing in the infantry count. I think if he had sent those Step Lancers into the economy instead of trying to fight here, it would have been a good thing. Maybe he could have held back and used them now, but he kind of just threw all those Step Lancers away at the very start and just didn't get anything from it besides killing 1 treb. So Huggie on the back foot again, and the eco is just definitely not there for Huggie. Huggie not great at expanding the eco as much. Breeze already up to 70 vills, and just has a massive economy behind this, can sustain a push much easier. Huggie still has some resources in the banks, but if this fight, if Huggie doesn't get a dominating position in the next 2 minutes, Breeze is just gonna out eco him easily. So military is even right now, but I mean, Breeze still has better units, I think. So, but here comes another raid of Hussars. So Hussar is going to be starting to come in for Huggie, and they're gonna try to get some fights. They're just gonna get nuked. Oh no. No Hussars, or no Bloodlines for the Khitans, is what we were saying earlier, right? So that's why those units are dying so fast. And yeah, now Huggie's struggling with the economy, struggling with the military. Doesn't have an army clumped up. And, I mean, we see another squad of Hussars trying to come in for a raid, but those war wagons and the rocket carts have just been melting these. So we'll see. They're going to get some good, maybe a pick off here or two. Yeah, pick off a few of the rocket carts, so that is a pretty good flank from those Hussars. But we still have a bunch of war wagons and a couple Trebs in the middle. Yeah, Huggie's taking decent fights. I just don't think it's enough. And I think that early fight, losing, like, I think the fights where Huggie needed to get some good fights, he didn't get. And while he's taking some good fights elsewhere and other places, those have only just been, like, they never got him an advantage. And now he's kind of behind. Camel's trying to come up to deal with some of the war wagons. But, yeah, it's going to be, Huggie's out of gold. Doesn't have the economy to really back it up right now. And Breeze has forward siege workshops to get some more rocket carts, maybe Castle. Has the relics, I'm assuming, if we check. Well, one relic there still. So relic already has 2. More on the way. And yeah, the war wagon's just being a massive problem, generating so much value. Rocket cart is a hero, though. It's gonna take out maybe... Gonna take out those Trebs. Takes out 2 Trebs. What a hero rocket cart. I mean, I think the longsword may have gotten 1. But yeah, this is gonna be, Huggie has no military. This is going to be game. Huggie also half eco. Like, Breeze has over boomed, but he's totally allowed to in this position. Even if Huggie managed to get all of his military out, he has nothing to contest the war wagons. This is just not even. Yeah, there's no way Huggie comes back. Huggie's gonna try to send some pikes over on the side, maybe get a raid, but the castle here protecting against it. Barracks will keep an eye on. No, Pike's coming home. Yeah, I think Huggie had some good fights, just didn't have the fights that he needed to. And it's going to result in Huggie going down 0-3. As the Trebs start to move forward and start taking out some of these production buildings. Take out this castle on the side. The pasture economy. And Huggie calls it GG. Yeah. I think if we check the timeline, like there was a... So early rush, Huggie had a solid thing and just did not have an eco built up behind as much. Where was it? There's all the step lancers. And so now they move in. And this is, I think, where... If those step lancers were raiding, that's a lot of eco kills. But instead, we can just kind of watch them come in. Oh, there's even gunpowder. I didn't even notice that. But they just get melted. And they take out, let's see. They take out 1 Treb. And a rocket cart. Yeah, the group got 1 kill. Like, that, you just... Yeah. How many units was that? 27 step lancers just thrown away. So that's kind of what cost Huggie the game, I feel like. Because if these just go in, just raid, then, like, imagine the step lancers over here, just kill the Vills, right? That would have been huge. Or if they just, you know, attack the war wagons, they could have maybe taken out a few of them and maybe made it a little bit more reasonable. I think that was kind of the engagement that just cost Huggie a bit too much. And then no eco follow-up. So Breeze is going to take game 3 and wins the match. But we do have a few more games to go. We have 2 more games to go, so we will see. I can just go and get rid of this, so it can't leak certain things. Where are we looking here? Okay. So next match is going to be Akare, and they've already started, so we'll hurry up. So it's going to be Akare. What civs do we think on Akare now that the Katans lost and the Koreans won? They've been played 3 times. Interesting. Berbers versus Vietnamese. That makes sense. Akare is the kind of water, mostly land, but some water. I can see that. I could also see, since there's still shoals, so I think Turks is being saved for that. I could see Huns, right? Because they don't have they already have Runestone, so I could see Huns on Akare. Just because early rush. Oh, no, Akare has castles. Never mind. Alright, well. Let's load in. It's going to be Berbers versus Romans. No one's right. Should probably figure out how to download the resources so I don't keep getting that message. And I remembered this time. Oh, I have the thing on. So, go to Capture Age. 2 best civs in the tournament statistically. Really? That's interesting. Yeah, I don't like drinking out of metal water bottles. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a glass drinker. Just, I don't know. Even if it's a very nice stats page is live in the brackets. Ooh. Is it being updated properly? Interesting. All right. All right. Up 3-0 in the purple, we have Breeze playing the Romans. And in the blue, hoping to get a game or 2, is Huggie playing the Berbers. Now, the castles, of course, being the defining feature of Akare. And, yeah. It'll be... Oh, timeline. Sorry. Remind me, I'll do that, turn it off after. But, gonna find an early snipe from Huggie. Huggie having these really good early rushes is nothing to be, nothing to scoff at. Getting those early eco kills, it's just not a lot of payoff from them. And, I mean, I suppose, yeah, you don't have to build houses, but this should be great for Berbers. I imagine so, right? Here comes all the infantry and siege from the Romans, which makes sense. Maybe see some centurions, yep, coming from the castles. And the unique unit from the Berbers, the camel archers, will be coming out, which will be very good counters to the centurions, but the infantry is going to be the problem. And we'll see these siege workshops coming out, bringing out the scorpions. Romans, of course, insanely good on scorpion play. And so now we're going to see who's going to be aggressive. We see the paladins coming forward, or cavalier, coming forward from Huggie. Surprised it's cavalier and not camels. I guess if you're going to be dealing with infantry, you probably want cavalier and not the camels. But these centurions are going to snipe a couple onagers. So nice finds there. And doesn't cost too much. Loses a few units, but a couple gold units. Very nice find from Breeze. And we'll see if Huggie can really match the military. We can already see Breeze has double the military. Yeah. I mean... Maybe it was, like, Centurions, Cavalier I can see if you're just worried about them fighting against the Halberdiers. But, like, Centurions, you're right, yeah. 2 castles already. I mean, you do have a Camel Archers to deal with Centurions, theoretically. But, taking bad fights here. Breeze kind of getting really aggressive here. And the action's going to be on Huggie's side of the map. And Breeze can continue sending units forward, has military pop lead. But under the castle, will continue to lose them. Probably just wants to back off and mass up. And we actually see demos coming out. A couple sneak docks in the south from Huggie. So we see some heavy demos, and they're going to land... I'm just going to go back real quick. Because it's a demo. No, it just dies. I thought it hit the huge things, but nope. Okay. No more rewinding, unless we miss a demo. But... yeah, the demo's going to try to find... I mean, this does mean that... Breeze has to be wary about crossing the water. And just a lot of water. Huggie's going heavily water, so this is turning into a hybrid map. And we have a Galleon mixed in. Heavy demo ships. So yeah, this is going to make Breeze really reluctant to push in. Takes a nice hit, gets some Scorpions. Deletes, kills his own Galleon. Gives a few more Scorpions, so. So not the most payoff from going water. And we actually even see the expansion on the top side as Breeze goes right away to grab all these relics. And no relic play from a Huggie. Huggie probably thinking about trying to end this one quickly. Centurion's going to try to snipe some Onagers here. Camel Archer's a little bit out of position. Will get one down, maybe a second down. But yeah, now Breeze has to contend with a massive ball of Camel Archers and some siege. And some water. And the castle push on the left side. So Huggie being aggressive in a way. So Huggie didn't queue fishing ships. He claimed that's why he didn't win. That's fair. Demo does land a nice hit there. Okay, some units, and the Andra is kind of just uncontested here, landing a few shots on the Scorpions. But they're going to get sniped, taken out by these Centurions. Camel Archers there trying to protect. That's a big ball of Centurions coming in on the side, going to snipe a lot of these units. No demos there to deal with it, but there's those Cavalier. And where are the Camel Archers? Camel Archers are in the top, dealing with a raid. So the Cavalier are going to get some nice fights here, as Breeze takes a very good chance to take an attack here. Galleons are the play. I think Galleons are the right play here. But Huggie's pop caps already. Oof, that's rough. Demo going to try to land some shots. And I mean, this is actually not a bad fight for Huggie, having to cut off the reinforcements at the river. Classic military tactics. But that's a lot of Centurions, and the Camel Archers just aren't there and doing enough damage. And that's a lot of military loss for Huggie. And Breeze continues to send units forward. The Galleons not really being effective here, are cutting off the reinforcements, so that is not the worst. Camel Archer is going to take out these forward Centurions, but that's going to leave no units to defend against the Rams from Breeze, and Huggie's starting to lose and has a lot of doesn't have the eco. First and last time anyone plays this like a water map, yeah, just no eco from Huggie. Nothing to reinforce this push, nothing to bring it back, and this is going to be a quick 4-0. Interesting play. Interesting fight. Not a bad fight to go melee with the Camel Archers. Yeah. It was not a bad fight in the sense of, like, these Galleons were doing pretty solid at, like, messing up Breeze's army. Kind of, like, coordination. But it just wasn't a good enough fight in the middle. Those Centurions are super tanky against Camel Archers. And with the Siege Rams going forward and nothing to deal with melee, it's not looking great. I don't know why there's a TC down here. Like, make production buildings to raid. But, yeah. Full-on Accuray water map isn't turning out. Huggie doesn't seem in the best headspace. Yeah, these seem a little bit sloppy from Huggie. Not to be, like, rude or anything, but it's just, I feel like Huggie should be better than this. Just looking at the spreadsheet. This just seems like, for a Division 4 game, this just seems like a lot of mistakes that I feel like are made when you're just not ready, you're not paying, just not in the best headspace, you're not in the best energy levels, maybe, like, yeah. I'm kind of shocked it's a little bit this one-sided. Those Galleons are picking off a lot of reinforcements. Have 32 kills. That is a lot of kills. Those Galleons have gotten some pretty solid play. So, I mean, the dock's not entirely useless here. Oh, these Camel Archers trying to rejoin the fight. Yeah, I think if Huggie had been able to hold the middle a little bit better and have an economy, those Galleons would have been a very solid play. Just set up a few of them here and just kind of snipe some of the reinforcements, prevent the army from crossing unopposed. Breeze is a good player, though. That's fair. He did lose a few seasons, so he may be at a level where he dominates. The classic, yeah, that tends to happen. I mean, Huggie's held off the fight, just has no economy behind this. So Breeze has all 5 relics, or is it 5 or 7 relics? 5 relics. Yeah. So relic control firmly in Breeze's side. A little bit of pressure over here. Not really. So, I mean, Breeze can kind of just slowly take this. I mean, the Cavalier pushback is going to be a nice little fight here. And Breeze's military is kind of looking low, and that's mostly because of an overpop. So maybe some castles being built forward. I mean, there is a venue for Huggie to get back into this game. It requires making really booming, maybe a few more TCs just to max out the boom. But a couple good like 1 or 2 good engagements from Breeze and the game's over. Scorpion's gonna land some nice shots. Scorpion's really gonna do problems against those, cause problems with the Camel Archers. Camel's gonna try to engage on this. Monk's even coming forward to try to get some conversions. The Cavalier's gonna chew through those camels. And yeah, I think Huggie may have had a moment of respite, but with those siege rams coming forward to try to deal with these docks, and I think this is going to be Huggie's last gasp in this game. I'm going to see some good monk micro try to get some Hussar conversions. It's not going to work. But did he get one? No, it's Centurion. And yeah, I mean, at this point, I think Breeze can kind of just play this how he wants. He doesn't really have to worry about playing this optimally. He's done so much damage. He should know Huggie has, like, the score lead. Kind of doesn't tell too much, but it does tell enough that it's, like, you're not really encountering anything too much. You're seeing trash units from Huggie. You're seeing champions now. Like, yeah, you know you're in a winning position. And Huggie calls GG. Doesn't resign right away. There he goes. So, yeah, I mean, the military was never too big of a problem for Huggie this game. It was the economy. And just the fights that Huggie took were just not very good. So, nice win for Breeze. Let's go to the next one. Final one's going to be on Shoals. So, probably going to be seeing Turks. First sweep for Huggie starts now. Yeah, right? Fingers crossed. I do want Huggie to take one. I think it'd be great if he takes one. So Shoals is going to be the final one. All right. So, what do we got for tonight? We have, that was Romans 1 versus Teuton. No, that was Berbers. I'm going to be honest, I think, like, all of my casted sets have been 5-0s. I know at least, like, Admiral Zhao versus Yomi was a very close 5-0 for a couple of the games, but I feel like there's been a lot of 5-0s. So, Shoals, I mean, I think it's going to be Turks, right? Turks on water, and then Vietnamese allies. Vietnamese elephants on water. Like, I don't know. I don't know if the Huns don't have great water, if I remember correctly. Thought you were looking at Rubenstock for a minute. He's, Rubenstock is Nordic, if I remember correctly. Like, one of those Nordic countries, whereas I am Irish-Italian. So, see it? Should I get my hair a little bit better? You can see just the massive amount of hair. They are ongoing. All right, started 30 seconds ago. Load in. It's going to be Turks versus Vietnamese. Kind of, I think that was expected at this point. Just make sure that this is, yep. Vietnamese Turks on Shoals. Got a minute till the game starts. Well, thank you for the follow, Muffin. Or Strike. Whichever one you go by. Chug some water. If you're wondering why I'm drinking instead of using a straw, it's because this one was, I don't know if it's been cleaned and I need to run it through the wash. Probably shouldn't even be drinking out of it, to be fair. But, yeah. Looks silly. So this will be game 5. Vietnamese, Turks, I mean, on water. Turks have those insane cannon galleons. We got 30 seconds. I can just run through this real quick. See if there's anything that stands out. Vietnamese, that's the other one. I was trying to remember who it was. Like, it's not Koreans. Turks, yeah, cannon galleons, gunpowder units. Otherwise they just have a solid water, right? They're nothing insane on water. Just really good cannon galleons, whereas the Vietnamese, no bonuses in water. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Pull up capture age, play it normally. All right, welcome to game 5. Oh, hold up. All right, game 5, Tarnished Deathmatch. Division 4 between Huggie, who's down 0-4, playing the Turks on Shoals against the person leading 4-0, which is Breeze in the purple, playing the Vietnamese. All right, we see some early docks, as is tradition. Scouts being chased. And Hussar chasing the light cav, so no real early rush. I mean, good quick walls, good quick walls. No, it does not get the quick wall off. That is a huge find for Breeze. That is real bad. Gets the Vil Snipe too. The Vil Snipe sucks. Eco lead is always nice, but the delay on the docks is massive. That's going to mean that the demos coming out for Breeze are going to give such a huge advantage. So really, really nice find from Breeze, and Huggie's going to be on the back foot from the get-go. Demo's gonna land, take out 2 villagers, and the docks continue to stall. Huggie getting decimated super early on. At least has 1 dock up, but uncontested docks. Yeah, Huggie is, like, I don't want to call it right away, but from what I understand on this map, this bad of a water start is just, you're just not going to recover. Demos trade, villagers need to watch out. Takes out a dock foundation, so just delays more of the water. And we've already seen Breeze is much better at setting up an eco and military behind it. So, like, with Huggie having to focus so hard on water, I don't think Huggie's going to have a great eco or build behind this. Has a lot of camels, so, like, a lot of military is going to be there to deal with this. But, I mean, they're going to have to go all the way around because the water control is firmly in Breeze's control. We see elephants starting to come out. Yeah, it's going to be very rough for Huggie to come back from. 3 villager kills is pretty massive. I mean, the already is up only 9 villagers to 10. So Breeze not the best eco start. But, I mean, we see a massive ball of pikes coming in for a raid. Demo's going to start trading in the middle. And it looks like Breeze might be lightening up on the... No, that's 53 heavy demos queued up. That might be a bit too many demos, I'm going to be honest. I don't think you need 53 demos. Breeze not queuing villagers? Yeah, that is a huge problem. You can see... Oh my god, that idle TC time. 2 minutes of idle TC time. This early on? What the hell? That's insane. I mean, this just gives Huggie a huge chance here. This is insane. I mean, Breeze has a really nice raiding opportunity here. A lot of halberdiers. The castle does go up to help protect the eco. But that is going to be very tough to deal with. Good fight over here from Huggie. And Breeze finally realizes he needs to queue up some villagers. That is 3 minutes of idle eco time, and that's going to give Huggie a chance to kind of come back from here if Huggie takes advantage of it. But these elephants starting to mass up, and with some rats and archers there, they're going to chew through these camels. And in the middle, I mean, it's just non-stop demos, so... that was almost all the demos lost. I would have laughed so hard. That would have been a massive loss. I mean, Huggie's taking some good demo trades here as the demos from Breeze are clumped up. Okay, some good split micro, but like 1 for 2 trades here is kind of what Huggie needs. That's 1 for 3, 1 for 1, 2 for 2. Huggie's getting some very good water trades, but now the elephants starting to push forward. Those halberdiers were annoying. I don't think they got too much done, but definitely kept the military at home. We see the Janissaries come out, and some cannon galleons are out for Huggie. They just need to be protected, and that's going to be very tough to do. But the demo's going to land on the elephants, have drawn them out. That's a lot of HP on those elephantos lost. Breeze demo micro is Titanic. Yeah. Breeze is, he had the winning position and then kind of let it slip, and now it's a much more even game. And now we even see, I mean, no, it's ILTC is fine. But yeah, Huggie didn't take good enough advantage. Now the elephants are in the back. No eco set up for Huggie. Breeze recovering, establishing the eco, gets the castle on the left side, and just starting to swarm elephants. And I mean, that's a very, very tough ball of units to deal with. Camels are going to do their best here, and the Industries can do quite a bit as well. And I mean, Breeze not waiting for the rest of his army to show up is going to allow these camels to try to get a decent engagement, but this is... I don't think this is going to go well. There's no castle over here to help support. Castles are all on the other side. And, I mean, alright, elephants are kind of down. The cannon gallon is going to rain some shots down on these Rattan archers. And, with the reinforcements immediately being able to join the fight from Huggie, he might be able to hold on here. But the demo is going to land and take out most of those cannon gallons. The demos from Breeze starting to show their selves. And now both sides trying to expand onto this left side. Villagers are out here. No castle. I mean, castle here. But when you see if Huggie notices all these, the friendly mining going on the left side, and he gets a castle in the middle or something. So no reaction there. Both players focus on the micro on this side. Janistries versus Rattan archers. And, I mean, Galleon's coming forward, going to take castle fire. This should get cleaned up, but that was a massive, massive delay for Huggie to do any sort of economy expansion. And this is given this, even if the left side is being contested, the right side, because it was pushed back so far and fighting up here, now Breeze can establish a full foothold on the right side. And Huggie stopped contesting water, making some galleons at home now, but it's a little bit too late. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of galleons coming out. The problem is one demo can really do some damage here. But, I mean, Breeze isn't contesting too much on water either. Both sides trying to deal with these foot wars. Camel Rays on the left side with some Hussars, some Stables. Gonna do some nice damage here, get some villager kills. And Huggie might win this left side. We see some Rattans on the left side, but no Trebs. We need to see a Treb out from Huggie and start pushing this area back. But the right side is completely uncontested by Breeze. Only now Huggie going to send some Janissaries, but they're going to back away. And I mean, for now, Huggie has 1 water, and only 2 demos being made by Breeze. Not really worrying too much about the water. I think right now, focus entirely on trying to secure this gold on the left side. Both sides kind of low on gold. Need the villagers to start doing some stuff, but a lot of cavalry is on this left side. Halberdiers and Rattans are going to be used to come try to contest it. We see the Treb now. So if that Treb gets used, and maybe the second Treb, we do need to see a second Treb or something to start pressuring some of these buildings. But yeah, in the meantime, now we see the engagement on the right side. The Janistries go too far forward. This Halberdier is going to engage on these Janistries, and no micro here. These are going to get all destroyed. That is a lot of gold units you cannot afford to lose at this moment. Good idea from Huggie to send them forward, but without the micro there to support them, it's going to be real bad. And now we see with water control for Huggie, Huggie's going to start engaging in the middle. We see a couple demo ships trying to spook Huggie from being too far forward, but these cannon gallons are going to start taking out these forward docks and maybe even start ranging some of the production buildings. So we'll see if Breeze reacts to that. But in the meantime, Breeze looks like he's fully focused on this left side, trying to win this gold or at least keep Huggie off of it as he starts taking full stake on the right side and just patrolling and keeping the units from Huggie off of it. And that's a lot of Hussars getting ready for raids, but with pikes and elephants over there. Now the demos come out. We're going to see a couple engagement, a couple hits, and that's a lot of units lost. But the cannon gallons stay alive for Huggie. Continue to range these docks, continue to range the castles. And a bunch of dead bodies litter the left side. Huggie's economy still significantly worse than Breeze. But yeah, looks like he might be losing this. The cannon gallons are going to do a very nice job of ranging some of these buildings if he wants to. But the demos continue to land. No micro from Huggie. And these demos getting some value. And Huggie may have won water, but nothing really showing up there. And now that military that's on the right side, the Hussar is coming in to help support this left side. That's where the fight is happening. Huggie is desperate to gain some access to gold. And we see that we have a bombard cannon starting to be in the gameplay for Breeze. And the Hussar is going to come in and snipe all these siege. But a lot of TCs are going down. Villagers being taken out by these castles, elephants. And Rattans have to retreat into the castle. Those cannon gallons, I think, should be able to range some of these castles. But Devil's going to come out. We'll see if any response from Huggie. No response, but enough galleons have massed up that the demos aren't really able to engage on those galleons. So, good from Huggie for winning water, but needs access to gold and has a bunch of villagers taking this, and they're starting to win this left side. So there is chance for Huggie. I mean, there is an elephant halberd. There's no economy back here, and the economy over here is protected by a lot of castles. And that raid has to go through so many castles to get to anything. I mean, Huggie's economy just is not really... Where is the economy even? Just not really anywhere. So that raid going to be... Maybe find a few kills, but... Everything's kind of engaged on this left side. Turns out the Turks died to elephants. Yeah, you're not wrong. Though, elephants die to mass war galleon. And cannon gallons getting some good damage here. And that raid is just cleaned up. So Huggie looking pretty good. I mean, it's mostly just a question about gold access. Huggie needs to re-establish gold and get more villagers. Breeze a little bit over-boomed. Cannon gallons need to take out that Treb. So Demo's coming out. So Breeze widely redocking on the right side. So trying to get some demos, try to catch these galleon mass unaware. So while Huggie has water control, can he do anything with that water control? I mean, the cannon gallons are going to start taking out some of these buildings, but has very little access to gold and none over here, whereas Breeze is just has so much gold. Though really not populated the gold very well. So neither player really established the eco they need. This castle getting a lot of free kills here as rally points are causing problems. We'll see if Breeze notices and starts setting some trebs out. But the fight on the left side continuing to be an issue. Cannon Galleon's now cleaned up a lot of these side things. Going to take out some of these castles. But now the demo's coming in. We need to see if Huggie reacts. Huggie does not. One Cannon Galleon does. There's a reaction. Huggie's trying to run away. Two Cannon Galleons go down. Third one's going to go down as well. But can the Galleons stay alive? Looks like mostly they are. Couple might land. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Couple good lands, but not enough. Those ships are very weak. And at the same time, the land army has cleaned up the expansion on the left side by Huggie. And so more Cannon Galleons are coming out. So they're going to be able to range some of these units. But these raids and elephants and rattans just causing so many problems for the Turk player. Nothing too much happening on the side except now bomber cannons versus the Treb. We need Huggie to start doing some bomber cannon micro on the right side. And Treb does notice it. Bomber cannon is going to come forward, snipe that Treb, and could start doing some problems here. I'd love to see some stables produce some hussars just to help meat shield. With all the actions happening on the left side, this massive death ball is just ignoring the water and going forward. And there's no military for Huggie on the ground. All the military is tied up in 31 galleons. The rest is just a handful of camels, 1 janissary, and the 2 bomber cannons on the right side. So this army is kind of able to go uncontested and clean up a lot of the eco. And Huggie's still only at 80 eco, whereas Breeze still is at 140. And a lot of idle eco from Huggie. So even though Huggie has a pretty solid position with like water and everything, needs to send those cannon galleons to start getting some damage done. Are there cannon galleons here? Or is it all just galleys? No, all the cannon galleons got wiped out. That is a good find from Breeze. Breeze now starting to push back the economy, just showing dividends. Prediction if Huggie will reach 2 and pop once the set. I mean, the set's almost over. Oh god. Good engagement on the water. No reaction from Huggie. And a lot of galleons go down. That was half the galleons that were taken out. 31 to 15. And isn't going to help Breeze secure water anytime soon, but definitely cuts into Huggie's firm grasp on water. Military now equal. And we see engagement. Oh, the castle did go down here. There was no military here to back up to protect those expansions, the bomber cannons. And instead, Breeze winning the fight on the right side, winning the fight on the left side. Taking out this castle that is kind of the bedrock of Huggie's expansion on the left. And I think this is going to start spelling the doom for Huggie. He's not going to be able to get access to any gold. He's already down 190, probably from relics. Hussar's going to come in here, but they're going to get melted by the Rattans. Might be able to take one. No, they're not going to find anything. Trying to repair this with all he can for Huggie, but fight on the right side is going to get cleaned up. But, I mean, this expansion's gone down. The castle's there, and Huggie has no access to stone. There's that one tile of stone. There's some stone in the back that Huggie could take care of, but yeah, economy. Huggie had a solid economy. Huggie had all of the economy of chances of building the economy, just never could. And with that water control, just wasn't able to get enough benefits from it. And Breeze was just able to continue to push on the sides. Elephants can, like Otter was saying, elephants really tough for the Turks to deal with. And they just continue to pressure the land, keep Huggie off of gold. Breeze had a very uncontested gold over on the right side too, which is now fully populated. But for a while, it's just a matter. It's just been a game of keeping Huggie off and Huggie not having the economy ever to get up to where he needs to. I mean, these Turk cannon galleons, we're doing enough, but there's not enough of them. There's only 3 of them at once. And those take too long. If you had like 6 or 7 even, when you had full control, those would have been melting buildings left and right, and you'd been able to actually keep the production kind of backed up and maybe had some better benefit there. So yeah, I think this is, I mean, Huggie still has a lot of control. I mean, I don't even, like, there's the demos there, but I don't think Breeze even feels the need to contest it. I think Breeze knows that he can win on land. Yeah, Relic's gone now. Hussar's starting to pop out, but we see a few Halberdiers being sent out. Maybe some more would be nice, just because you know Huggie's on trash units, but Huggie has no resources in the bank. Military is starting to wire it, go down, and, well, Huggie has a lot of control. I just do not think that there's anything that he can do to really secure his position here. He's just going to be drained of gold. At some point, those relics will probably get stolen. Yeah, you even see a monastery with some monks coming in to steal those relics. So really good played by Breeze. And I think we're just going to watch a slow downfall of Huggie. Huggie, of course, not wanting to throw away or tap out so soon, but we even see max pop cap from Breeze. Should start seeing some Q build up. I mean, he has the massive amount of resources. Could start queuing up some Halberdiers just as trash units. But we see a bunch of demos coming out to try to deal with this war galleons. Please don't do the 50 cannon galleons. I have to go in 50 minutes. Breeze has time? Yeah. I don't. I will end the cast early if he does that. Also, I mean, like, the nice thing about this is that it's not pure water in the middle, so like you could somehow get some trebs and stuff there. Lucky will cast it. Yeah. A different night I'd be down, but this one is. I'm lucky that I'll have time to go get dinner before I do my Destiny raid. I do enjoy 5-hour games when they're actual games, right? It's the I camp with one Turk cannon galleon where nothing's gonna happen for 6 hours until someone looks away and Treb lands a lucky shot. I'm not looking to cast those games. The 2-hour wood games I would totally be down for. Just not when I have something else going on tonight. Yeah, I mean, 54 on gold, Breeze just massively going. It's just a question of can you clean up the water at some point and slowly push the base of Huggie. I mean, Huggie's down to 70 pop. Like, there's really not much going here. Breeze being in this div is so dumb. What's up, Huggie? Yeah, Breeze looks really strong. We were saying that Breeze is kind of playing at like a Div 2 or Div 3 level today. And I don't know if you're going to watch this. It's safe to say, spoilers from an admin. I do say Huggie was, I don't know, it didn't look like your strongest showing. I don't know, I haven't watched many of your other showings, but some of your eco wasn't, I feel like you had some really good opportunities in this game. If you just had the eco or the siege to push forward. Like, you had a lot of really, really good opportunities. I think you just weren't able to capitalize. But yeah, Breeze is going to take this 5-0. And yeah, Breeze should be in Div 2 or something. Nate, thank you for, or Nat, thank you, or Spike, whoever it is. Thank you for the follow. All your favorite Sims got banned? Yeah, that's right. Getting the pop might be something. Yeah, that was the other thing, is that there's a lot of times just like you just could not keep up with a pop of Breeze. You got bored of this division? That's unfortunate. Stop paying attention to DM? Oof. Well, hopefully if you rediscover your love for doing this 5 weeks in... Yeah, tournaments, that's a TO issue. Not necessarily a TO issue, but like that's a player issue. That is definitely big issue when it comes to online games when you're scheduling stuff like this. Gonna claim admin wins. Yeah, that's fair. It's it's tough. It's tough when they last this long, and you don't want to just preemptively do call that, but like 5 weeks with no games is pretty rough. I will agree with you on that, and there's it's that is one of the problems with Age of Empires versus other games, because the games take so long here that you can't really be like, all right, this entire tournament's happening in 2 weeks, unless you have the resources of like T90 or someone, right? And even then, it's like people don't want to play like an entire weekend of only sets to get a bracket all the way done. So yeah, that was a good match. Breeze definitely showing that maybe not a Div 4 player. Might need to be a Div 3 next year. Huggie had some really good chances. And I think if Huggie had some pop cap and some eco behind it, we'd be looking at a different score. Yeah, so yeah, you can just see the economy is just like, it was never really there, and this has kind of been the trend the entire series. Granted, on this game, the Huggy had a really good, you had a really impressive comeback. Like, I will say, the most impressive thing of this game was recovering from this early demos. Like, these early demos, or this early like dock pressure from Breeze. I thought this game was gonna be over in the first 10 minutes. But Huggy recovering from this, and honestly even doing better for a while, was like very, very nice. Like, yeah, it was rough here, and then you had some really, really good demo trades later on. We get to those demo trades. Like, yeah, right there. Holy crap, hold on. We missed that amazing demo. So yeah, I think the water micro from, oh, that was actually for a bunch of 3 demos versus, yeah. I think Huggy did, Breeze doesn't know how to play water. That is fair, so it's easy to get back. Yeah, that's fair. That being said, though, like, these demos you landed was impressive, because you had to see, like, he queued up 50 demos. He could have pushed the demo advantage really hard, but you played really well with the demos. So, like, this is kind of equal. I'll back up a little bit. The way Huggy kind of won water was just really out demoing, right? Additionally, I think, like, from having that early dock pressure, Breeze never kept it up, didn't send the demos forward to, like, trade the demos and start pressuring the things, didn't have any candy galleons to pressure. Breeze did focus more on land here, but as far as water goes, like, you're gonna see some really good demo trades here, right? Like, just right there, it was like, and then switching to the like 1 for 3 there. Trade 1 for 2. Just these demo trades were massive for Huggy, and that's kind of where Huggy was able to establish control, and then traded the demos. Not the best trade, because a few of them were left over, but, oh, those demos going against water, right? Taking out a dock for 4 demos when those 4 candy galleons are there. And then Breeze switched to galleons, and focuses on land. Demos come in, take out those candy galleons. But a few demos later, those galleons go too far forward, get taken out by the demos. And then even here, like, still lands some more demos, and then switches to an actual water composition, right? And so, I mean, on one hand, like Huggy said, Breeze might not know how to play water very well. And now the switch, yeah. On the other hand, Breeze also could have just kind of given up water and focused on the gold, which he kind of did. Water only matters early, yeah. Because, yeah, it was not hard winning this side. Unfortunately, meant that Huggy didn't have access to gold at all. And, yeah, 3 fake water maps. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a water map, but I can see where you would say, like, it doesn't matter later on. It'd be interesting if, think people that throw tantrums and forfeit. Oof. That's drama I'm not familiar with, but it'd be interesting if, like, there's some resources in the middle. So, like, if you won water, you use it, but yeah, not winning that left side was Titanic. The other thing is, like, again, I think you're a better player than I am. I think one thing is if you had more than 3 cannon galleons, you could have taken out some of these buildings a lot faster. But season that is a bit less water. Yeah, I've always been iffy on water. I've never been the biggest fan because it feels water is much less dynamic. I always feel like water ends up, maybe this is more RM, but water feels like much more of kind of like a standardized thing. Anyways, I gotta go eat dinner before my raid, so I just want to thank everyone for joining tonight. This is a wonderful match. GG's, Huggie, best of luck, and hopefully you either get your admin wins or you get your games and people stop